Welcome to this Roll for Crit preview. Today, we're taking a look at Hungry for Humans. In this game, you and your friends have come across multiple cryptids who, if you can guess from the title, want to eat humans. So your goal is to use food from West Virginia where you're located, and hopefully you'll be able to feed them enough so they no longer find you to be their next meal.
It's up to you to stop these terrible monsters from eating you and your friends. And the way that it's going to work, you are still competing with the other players. You don't want anyone to get eaten, but you'd prefer that you be the last one left standing amidst your friends and all the other monsters. So you're going to be tempting the monsters each round with different cuisine. The game is separated out into 3 different days, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And on each day, you're going to be having 5 meals that you're going to be feeding to at least one monster each round. Everybody's going to have a hand of cards, which could include dishes or powers that they'll be able to play in a little while. In each round of the game, each player is going to submit one dish to the overall meal that one monster is going to get the chance to eat. There's some different rules in a 2-player game where you might be putting in more dishes, but we're going to assume right now that you're playing with the game of, say, 3 or 4 players. So each person is going to submit a dish card face down, and then they're also going to add to that one of their hunger levels. You have a hunger level between 1 and 5. That's how hungry you decide your monster is that round. And that also goes next to your dish face down. Then once everyone has submitted a dish, you are going to reveal them all face up and see what's going on. So there are different types of dishes that can be in there. You can see there's positive values and negative values. Even though these are monsters, they don't want to eat things like pure oyster slime. They'd much prefer this delicious pizza. And as you can see in the final game, there will be different West Virginia restaurants represented on these cards. So that's kind of neat. And some of them will have different bonuses, different abilities. But for the most part, you're really looking at that point value. You're going to total that up, and then players are going to get the chance to play powers, which we'll talk about in a second. Whoever then has the highest hunger level, which is revealed at that time, is going to eat all of these things. And the total value of these, so in this case, you would actually have 0 because it adds up to 0, 3 minus 2 minus 1. But let's say it ended up being a positive 3. Your monster would move up on their personal track 3 places, so their power level increases. And your goal of the game is to hit level 20 without going over it in order to win. Once this is taken care of, then these are cleared, and you don't get this number back until the following day. So between your levels 1 through 5, you can be watching the other players and noticing which numbers they still have in hand that might influence some of your decisions.
We are dealing with cryptids here, so this isn't simply feeding an animal. There's going to be strange things and mysteries affecting the meals and changing how the game will turn out. As Jonathan stated, after the cards are revealed, there's going to be chances to play a monster card. They come in a variety of powers. Some cards, such as My Germ or You Look Hungry, allow you to manipulate and have either your own or another monster eat a card before the final meal is eaten by one monster. This is a great way to either save a large positive card for yourself or maybe force your opponent to eat a large negative card. There are also cards such as Potluck, which maybe will add more cards into the hand, or you may even come across cards like the Mothman, and other cryptids may come in to mess around with the field. Now, there is another card called Leftovers. This will add food to a leftover pile instead. The reason that's important is because while you're playing, if you ever draw, when you refill your hand, the Feast card, it will add all the leftover cards back into the meal, meaning you might have one round where there's going to be a whole lot of points going around, positive or negative. Finally, there is a Yuck card. This is not a monster power, but it's important to say because this is a great way to maybe get a card out before you're about to eat something. Because if you go over 20, so let's say we were at 17 and we earned 4 points for our meal, we actually explode, you're out of the game, and everyone else gets the leftover food and gets to increase their monster, which could also cause more explosions. If you use the Yuck card to maybe get rid of that one cost thing, maybe that gets you to 20 and you win. By the way, conversely, if you don't feed your monster enough or enough bad things, it's going to get hangry and it's going to eat you instead and you're out of the game again. Yeah. So it's about balancing those numbers in this very kooky, revealing numbers, trying to see what people are bidding. Also, next thing you know, oh, we added a whole bunch of cards, or I'm going to eat the one good thing. Or you thought you were clever putting a -5 in, and then someone's like, you should eat it.
Yeah. And if you do manage to make it through 3 days with 5 rounds each, then it's just whoever is left standing and has the highest monster level is going to be the winner. But more likely, before that happens, a couple of people are going to get eliminated and eaten for whatever reason. There's a couple of different ways you can get eaten in this game. And yeah, at first, you sit down and play this, and it seems like, oh, I have positive dishes. I always want to play those. And oh, I always want to have the highest hunger level possible to make sure I get the meal. But that's, and maybe on the first round, when you start out at 8, that's safe to do. But later on, you have to be careful and think, well, actually, that person is pretty close to 20. So maybe I should play a bunch of high power cards, but play a low hunger level. So I make them eat it and explode. But they might think the same thing, and maybe it backfires, and then for some reason you end up actually losing points. The more players you have, obviously the more chaos can ensue in the game.
It is a quick game because depending on what cards are come out, maybe someone eats all the food really quickly, or everyone gets hangry, and the one guy who just was okay was like, well, I'm last one standing. But it is have this fun mechanic, as you said. The first round of each day is going to be a bit more random because you're just like, well, what's in my hand? But once you get to the later meals, you're going to know, like, all right, well, that player's already played their 5 and the other one has played their 4. So I'm pretty much more likely to maybe play my own 5 and win it, because if there's a tie, you sort of split the meal. This is maybe my time to play all my big value cards. Or if you notice everyone has played all their low cards, you're like, well, they're going to have to play a 4 or 5. Now's when I dump my negatives.
Yeah, and it's got that, of course, that classic thing of you can only play each number once per round. So even if you have great cards, it's not like you can just throw your 5 in every time. You have to really decide when is the right time to use this or the right time to use your lower numbers. There's not like, it's not like the higher are always better. It's really situational. So you're going to figure out as you go how that's going to progress. And of course, depending on which powers everybody has, which you'll never know what they're going to do. Everybody can only play 1 per round. So it won't get too crazy, but things could change and shift dramatically from where you think they start to begin with. And again, there's a variety of these different food cards. We don't have all of the finalized art in the version that we're playing with, but you can see it's got a very funny, weird, a little bit creepy art style to the different foods. And we got to show off the different monsters that are available in the game, along with their great names.
I love these cryptids. I mean, cryptids in general, but the ones they made up I think are hilarious. And I want to point out with the food, I do love that they're actually trying to get other real West Virginia restaurants and like, can we borrow a dish and have your name in our game? I think that's cool. The one bad thing is that I'm now very hungry.
Yeah. Well, then just look at some of the gross dishes, and that'll help you cool you off. Yeah, if you live in West Virginia, this will obviously have some added value for you. But you can go to the Kickstarter page, because it's up there right now, to see exactly what the final game is going to look like. We're dealing with some prototype components in terms of art and the quality of the cards and everything. But you can go over there. We'll have a link in the description below and see exactly what you think. And then let us know in the comments how hungry for humans you are.
Also, if you're from West Virginia, what food from what restaurant should be in this game?
Oh, man. There you go. Let us know what you think about it. Otherwise, I'm Jonathan.
I'm Will.
And this has been Roll for Crit. Thanks for watching. While you're here, why don't you like the video, subscribe to our channel for more content, or you can check us out on Patreon, where if you support us, there are a lot of cool goodies like posting in our Discord channel. We've also got a podcast you can listen to. We have weekly guests, lots of board game discussion. Check that out as well.